It's going to be tricky to analyze the price of Polkadot, Kusama, and Moonriver as both Ethereum and Bitcoin are breaking all-time highs, but also doing a little choppy juke plays up there. So in this episode, I'm going to show you some tricks involving EMAs, timeframes, and horizontals, and the rules and how they both combine. So no matter what Bitcoin and Ethereum are doing, you'll be able to stay toe-to-toe and know how to react. Let's get after it. I'm going to start off with Polkadot. What you are looking at right now is the blue line is the 12-hour 55 EMA. I have it conveniently labeled in here. So I am not on the 12-hour chart. So each of these candles is only 1 hour. So the reason that I'm doing, and people who follow my channel, you know I do this a lot, I try to pick what might be called the best fit line. And for new viewers, if you don't know what EMA means and you don't know much about price action, the first and you're clicking around with your money in crypto, the first best thing is to click the link that's going to be popping up here in just a second. It's how to set up a chart just like mine, so that once you go through it and you spend that time, it's free. It's like a college course for free, right? Or at least a college class for free. So click the link that's popping up right now. Do the work, because you're going to get screwed. This is Battlefield. People are out there trying to take your money. Learn how to set up a chart so you can follow my videos and stay in the know so you can help me help you. Let's get it. Anyway, so for Polkadot, the best fit line that I could find is the 12-hour 55 EMA. Kind of an obscure one. I typically don't choose that one, but I spent about 20 minutes, maybe not that long, 5-10 minutes before this video trying to figure out which one is the best fit line. So what we have going on here with Bitcoin and Ethereum doing some jukey, choppy stuff, yet still bullish, as long as 1 hour candles do not come both below the blue line and get rejected by the blue line. So let me show you what this might look like. If price, so my pink drawer is going to be like price, right? So if price comes down here, gets rejected, and maybe another rejection, that would be bad unless you get a strong bounce off this horizontal, which is the previous all-time high. So really what's happening with Polkadot is that it blew past this horizontal, right? And so a lot of people say, but why is price dropping? Well, I mean, actually, I guess there is kind of a reason why here, specifically in regards to there are more sellers than buyers. But why are there more? Actually, I did that wrong. The seller angle, the seller arrow needs to be bigger than the buy arrow. So right now your arrows are like this. The force of sellers is bigger than the force of buyers. But why the hell is this happening, right as a breakout? So the answer is kind of obvious. It's there are breakout traders who you see how price really accelerated here. Breakout traders were trading this. And what breakout traders do is they always expect the strong possibility of a retest or close to a retest, maybe like the structure high here. They sometimes front run the retest, and therefore it bounces somewhere and wicks above the previous all-time high for a breakout. But anyway, they start taking profits. So the buy power that created this, that created that more buyers than sellers there, they're turning into sellers. So it's not just that you have buyers turning into sideliners and they're just holding. No. You have straight up buyers, the same buyers that essentially created this, they're turning straight over to sellers, and you only have 3 groups of people that make price move. You have buyers, sellers, and sideliners. And technically sideliners don't move price, but they are often a huge, like a sleeping wave, like a tsunami wave, 200 miles out or whatever, and you can't see it yet, but it's coming, right? So that's how I interpret sideliners. So right now, they're not just turning into sideliners, which would make this arrow smaller anyway. And if the up arrow gets smaller than the down arrow, then price goes down, right? So not only are they not migrating over there, they're jumping straight to this ship. So price is likely going to retest this high until those same buyers come back in, and that's going to be somewhere around $46.18. Could bounce from there. It could wick below the previous all-time high that it made back in April or May at about $44.50, but it really does look like it's eyeballing that. So with this 55 EMA trick here, if you see price come down, get rejected, it's almost definitely going to hit one of those 2 points. It's probably going to hit one of those two points. Now, if it hits the first horizontal that I drew and gets rejected, that means it's probably going to test the previous all-time high of $44.60. So that's kind of how that would play. It might come down here and test this first, break the 55 EMA, test the previous wick highs, get rejected by the blue line, which if you have it on the 1 hour chart, you'll be able to see this happen, and then it'll come down. And I would assume by that point, Bitcoin and Ethereum will be done with their their 3-day candle correction. If that's what happens, could Polkadot, if I can even speak, hey Tim, what's wrong with you? If Bitcoin and Ethereum do more than a 3-day candle correction, I mean, could Polkadot come back down below here? Yes. I don't think it's very likely. It would be on a wick, and plus you'd probably still have daily closures above that line, would be my guess, because you're going to have a large group of buyers, the same buyers that were here, step back in at that point. So I would say that this is very, very likely to hold up. Save the scenario that Bitcoin whales like really take Bitcoin back into the 50K's range, under 60K or something like that, then yeah, that it's going to break down. So that is what I would do. What I would do if I were you is I would go to the 12-hour chart, put on the 55 EMA, draw it on, then use the 1 hour chart. And as long as you're bouncing on there, everything's okay. But if it doesn't, the first time it breaks, it's probably going to hit this horizontal at $45.80. It's probably going to bounce. If it gets rejected from the 55 EMA, it's very likely going to hit $44.60. And that's what we have for Polkadot. Even if you're just a Polkadot fan and you don't give two shits about Kusama and Moonriver, I suggest you stay tuned for this, because like I said, this is brutal. People are trying to take your money. They're taking swings at you. So if you want to box in the real ring and potentially get paid money or profit here, you need to practice. So see the other two analysis as practice, because all crypto moves the same besides XRP. XRP moves like its own freaking animal. Everything moves the same. So it's just a matter of time, if you're only a Polkadot fan, that what is applying to Kusama, the technical analysis that I show you, and particularly Mover. Mover one is a very important one because it's a range, and honestly, altcoins and Bitcoin itself spend more time in ranges than it does pumping. I mean, it really does. It's price action spends more time in ranges than anything else. So you need to know how to play ranges, which is what we're going to do last. So stay tuned for that, because DOT might spend a whole month in a range here. Like it might get stuck in a big range, and you're going to need to know what expectations so you can temper your emotions. Oh, whoever said it's not tamper, it's temper. Yeah. Thank you for that. But anyway, you need to temper your emotions. So what is applying to Moonriver right now could end up applying to Polkadot, so you need to stay tuned for that so you know what to expect. And since my face is big, we're on the big screen here, flip your phones or get flipped up. Hey Tim, what does that mean? It means literally flip your phone vertically, because it's horizontal and the screen is maximized and you can't see the thumbs up. So click that so I continue with making good videos for you and producing content for you. But what's also going to help me out is if you leave me a comment, even if it's just a small period without the tampon, yell out your favorite coin, Trias or whatever. Oh, I love Cardano. Leave me a quick comment. It's going to help out the algo. And if you haven't subscribed, hit subscribe, hit the bell, because this stuff is time sensitive. So if I'm going to help you walk through a more profitable crypto journey, you need to hit that bell. We are in this together. Let's go get this crypto. All right, we're going to jump back in. All right, so we are going to move on to Kusama. So Kusama spent a lot of time, or a decent amount of time, in a consolidation where most of the EMAs got pretty smashed together. So even on small down moves, if you were to pull up something like the 4-hour chart, it was hitting deep into pretty dang deep into the EMAs, like the 4-hour 89, 4-hour 200, because they're all smashed together. And since the move just happened and you have yet to have a nice dip, you can't tell what it's playing. So the best fit line that I could find that essentially means above it, good, below it, bad, right? So above this yellow line, good, below it. So the first time you go below it, and then actually look. And again, I'm on the 1-hour chart, but that line is not a 1-hour line. That's a 2-day 21 EMA. So the first time you broke below it in the 1 hour, use it as a resistance, bad. You see the difference between this situation and this situation? So as long as it doesn't both break below, use it as a resistance, it's okay, because it can break below in a wick, but it most likely would get back above. So I would suggest, if you're a Kusama fan, go to the 2-hour chart, draw in with whatever. I like to use the tool that is right here. See where my cursor is? I think that's over on the drawing tool. Yeah, it's called Path. And when you do that, star it, and it should show up on a little bar here that you can move around. I like using that a lot. And you can drag it around or whatever. And you can move it day to day. If price really comes down, you can move that last one down, something to that effect. Anyway, so as long as And then after you draw that in, go to the 1 hour chart. Because look what happened here. It went below it, but did it use that yellow line as resistance? No, it didn't. So what does that mean? Well, it means that since it's using this as a bounce point, this might go sideways for a little longer, and this might range out, folks. It might be trying to wait for this sucker to catch up. And that could take all of November, unfortunately. That might be what's happening. However, I want to tell you an EMA trick here, though. So when a move starts heating up, let's say a certain EMA that moves kind of slow was the base, but then the move heats up. When the move heats up, price action, as price gets higher and higher, like moves faster, it doesn't come down to check that slow moving EMA because it's like the chubby kid who can't catch up. At first you were jogging, right? You were by the chubby kid or whatever. And then you start sprinting, he can't catch up. So when the move starts happening, you often never return to touch that until you start correcting heavily and you use a different EMA. But right now we can't tell because the move just heated up. We haven't really been bouncing on anything significant yet. So I'm not saying that it's going to range 100%. However, it does have the chance of waiting for the 2-day EMA to come up here, maybe around, it's going to lose slope. It can't just do this unless price goes up, right? So it might be November 20th to the 20. Kusama actually looks like it's going to range here. Even if Bitcoin goes up, it looks like it might want to, potentially. I would give it maybe a 40% chance, but that's still pretty high. So it could be waiting on this, but as long as, you get any wick down here that looks scary because it breaks the previous all-time high, which is this horizontal line, it's honestly not that bad because it's just following the pattern of bouncing off of this anyway, right? So if you see a big drop in Kusama and it hits this line, guess what? That's probably going to be a really good pickup. It's probably going to be a really good pickup. And I'm not saying play around with futures or anything. I'm not suggesting that, although I probably would take profits on something and get into that trade if it happened. Me personally, I'm not saying anything to you to take action on that, but it has a strong chance of happening. And that would probably be a pretty good buy. And so really, when you're in something and you want more of it, you should be rooting for red candles sometimes, especially in macro bullish moves like what we have with Ethereum and Bitcoin. You want it to go lower during macro moves because it's probably going to bounce right up, right? Assuming your technical analysis is sound. So I think that Kusama does have a much bigger threat of breaking its previous all-time high horizontal than Polkadot. Okay, because of what it's been bouncing on, this has been the trend. The trend will continue until it's broken. However, here it could be broken, like I was saying earlier. It might begin using a different EMA. I do not know. But as of now, I don't know if that's a safe assumption. Okay, until it makes a higher high, then we can rule this out and find a different EMA. So just a heads up, if you see Kusama slam down even 10% when Bitcoin might only go down 1%, don't be too scared. Go to the 2-day 21 EMA, draw it in, go down to the hourly, check it out, temper your emotions. Everything will be good. And do expect that there is a darn good probability or a possibility. I don't know if it's a probability that this will range between 505 and about 430. So between 430, man, that's actually kind of a big range. That'd be profitable. Big ranges are, it's only 18%. That's actually not that much. But it could form a range here in which it uses this as the top line. Let's make this, actually, let's drag this down. So that would be, so this wick high here is probably going to end up being your point of control if this is a range. Which means the middle. Point of control is essentially the middle. This line here, so that's probably a wick above the range. I doubt that the wick is the top of the range. I think it would wick past what ends up being the range if it does range. So let's do something like this. Make that roughly in the middle. And I'm going to make this actually the 3/4 line. Make a 1/4 line about here. And then put my point of control. Point of control solid line about here at that recent wick high right there. So what could be formulating here is that if now we zoom in, if it doesn't slam down to the 2-day 21 EMA, I would anticipate. So this is the bottom of the range, the top of the range, point of control. Hey, Tim, question. Yes, what's your question? Could you please make those lines a little bit easier to see? Okay, all right, I'll do that. That's actually not a bad idea. Thank you. Okay. All right, there we go. So what could end up happening is you're likely going to find resistance at the 3/4 line, but when it comes back up. So the next time it comes up, it's probably only going to hit 483. Then if it finds support at the middle line at 469, then it has a chance to consolidate up here and break back out. Okay, so that's probably the avenue. The likelihood on the first time it comes back down that it goes directly back up, it's a very, very low probability. Very low probability. Actually, it already failed that. It hit the point of control and came down. So now that it's already tested the point of the control, it's touched this again, it's probably going to hit the 3/4 line first, then maybe hit the 1/4 line, or hit the 3/4 line, hit the point of control, and then give it another try. But honestly, it might wait for this. So it might do all that and then reset back to the 1/4 line, get back up to the 3/4 line, something like that, then hit the bottom of the range. It could range out for a while. So you might want to, here, let me actually draw these levels in here for you. That's right at $500. So if you're a Kusama fan, even if you're not trading this, if you do trade this could be a pretty profitable range, right? If you know how to play range, you can make a lot of money in them. And you're going to see that on Moonriver. A few of my VIPs like, gosh darn it, you told me that was the top of the range and I didn't sell. And now it's down 25%. I could have been buying 25% lower. It's like, yeah, well, you know, whenever, even if you just decide to sell 10% of your Kusama at the next top line, I mean, I'm telling you, that's it's going to be a highly probable trade. I'm telling you. And I'm not saying sell all your Kusama, but take a practice chance with 10% of what you got. Sell it around $500 once it flies up there. I'm telling you, and then you'll probably be able to buy it lower. Let's see. I mean, it's like 10% lower. Only 7%, but you still have more Kusama and you're practicing trading and you can get the feel for, oh my gosh, it's racing up. It's racing up. It's so scary to sell when it gets there, right? You'll freeze. So the more you practice, even if it's just a little bit, you'll have a little bit more Kusama, right? 6-7% from that position that you sold at 10% of your Kusama or something if you 10 bag it. But, it's going to be good for emotional stimuli. So in the end, you're not scared to sell because you already have the practice. All right. So let me keep writing these in here. So this level would be 484. The point of control is about 468.50. The 1/4 line, 456. And again, even if you're not trading this, draw this on your chart because it's going to help you emotionally so that you can set healthy expectations of your bag. Do you see what I'm saying? So if you wake up in the middle of the night and you check your freaking price and you see, after you think it's going to break out, but you see it coming all the way back down here, that you realize, oh, it's just the 1/4 line. That's cool, right? Instead of, oh my God, my bags are dropping. I'm down 15%. No, it's expected, right? So it's going to help you emotionally through your crypto journey. I promise you, you should draw this in. Now, will it form this range? I don't know, but I think it has a strong chance. So about 440. I'll just put 440 there. Keep that a round number. All right. So now you can see that what might happen to Kusama is exactly what's happening with Moonriver. So this last section possibly is the most important part of this entire video. Even if you don't give two shits about Moonriver, what is happening in there, you need to know you need to see how this moves because it's guaranteed to happen to both Kusama and Polkadot sooner than later, like within a few months. It's nearly guaranteed on a certain, and probably even on the daily time frame. It's gonna spend time in a range, and so Moonriver's range is very, very, very mature. So you can essentially back test. If I'm doing that, am I doing that the wrong direction? You can, no, it's got to be forward for me, backwards for you. So you can back test it, right? To see, okay, this is how Moonriver did. So once Kusama or once Polkadot gets in the range, this is roughly what I could expect, this and that. So let's go to Moonriver. I'm telling you, stay tuned for this, Kusama and or Polkadot fans who don't give two shits about Moonriver. All right. So before we take a look, hey, Tim, question. Yes. Could you also make those lines more visible? Okay. All right. I thought I had my charts prepared before the video, but obviously I was only thinking about myself. Something that I try hard not to do. All right. So this is my middle line. So point of control, 3/4 line, top of the range and bottom of the range, right? Okay. However, before we, and you can see that it's very mature within there. How long has it spent? That's 20 days in. All right. So check this out. But 20 days feels like forever. I mean, just ask like my VIPs, if whoever VIP, I know a few VIPs, and I know the one who said, oh shit, I wish I would have sold there. Like leave me probably Sequoia, leave me a comment on this so other people can see like, oh man, yeah, even though it's only 20 days in here, it feels like freaking forever, just, or whatever the case, like it just feels like forever. 20 days is a long time when you own a lot of something, right? Relative, like on a percentage basis to your portfolio. Okay, so before we get into this range, it's dipping below, right? So, so in my other videos, if you don't follow my other videos and you're just here for one of these three, whenever you have an unexpected price move, especially if the whole market is moving the other direction. So Bitcoin and Ethereum making all-time highs like today, as Moonriver breaks below its bottom line of its range, right? So in that, when it happens, what you do is you put your crypto chart goggles on and you look down and you say, what's next? What's next? So that's what I've done on this chart. And this is what you do on all altcoins in the same scenario. If it breaks the level you thought it was going to hold, you say, what's next? So watch how I do this. It's so important, no matter what kind of coins you own. I'm telling you, I promise you. All right. Even if you're not a trader, it helps with your expectations emotionally. Even if you just plan on holding Moonriver, it's generational wealth. I'm going to hold it for 10. Even if you're one of those people, which don't hold crypto for more than a few years. You're going to get screwed. There's no reason to watch crypto go down 95%. Even Ethereum lost 95% of its value last bear market. It's probably going to lose 90% this next one. Bitcoin lost 85% of its value last bear market. I mean, there's no sense in watching it go down that far. Can you sell tops? No, I'm not saying that, but you can buy back lower. Even if you sell halfway to the top, you're going to be able to buy back lower. No reason to say generational wealth, folks. Like and whenever anybody says, I know you're a noob and you clearly haven't been through a bear market. So anyway, so we're going to say, what's next? So I've drawn in. So even though I'm on the 1 hour chart, what you're looking at is the 1 hour chart, and I have these labeled. So before this video, what I did was I went to the 4 hour chart. I drew in the 4 hour 200 EMA, which honestly in bull markets, macro bull markets, and Bitcoin is not like ranging and being lazy, which is not, because I think it just broke all time highs again today, even though it's kind of doing a juke play. Like this usually holds up. I mean, I'm surprised it broke both the 4 hour 200, which is in line with the bottom of the range. It's very weird that it broke that. I would have said that would be like my fourth or fifth most, that was not very probable. But we're putting on our goggles to say what's next. So the next thing down there is, and it's also structurally, is this structure from over here, which happens to align with the daily 55 EMA, which technically is also a pretty common bounce point for crypto in a bull market. It has a good likelihood of being a big pickup or a good pickup if you can pick it up there as Bitcoin is not dropping or correcting or whatever. If Bitcoin is not correcting and Ethereum is not correcting, but your altcoin is, it has a better chance than not to be a good pickup. All right. So that is what's next. And where is it now? Well, look, it already wicked down to it. So again, I'm on the 1 hour chart. These are not daily candles. This is a 1 hour candle. Could people be buying that back up and it doesn't, and it comes right back into the range? Therefore, the daily candle never. So let's go to the daily chart so you can see this. It would be a daily wick with the daily closure above this line. Honestly, I would actually think that is probably the most probable scenario. I bet Moonriver closes today above 349. That would be my guess. However, it might spend some time down there, close one candle below, and then the next day go even lower, but then flip green and close above. That would be my second most probable scenario. A wick below where it went today. So wherever if this is the low for the day. So the second most probable, so the first most probable is today close above 349. It's bought back up and the daily candle closes above here. Or the second most probable is this daily that I'm circling. So today closes below. The next day wicks even farther down or makes a higher low. So one of those two. But it still starts off red and then starts off red, turns green, and then closes somewhere above 350, 349, 350. So that would be my most probable, two most probable scenarios. Now, third most probable is more downside, okay? And here's why. So Moonriver is a young asset. So if I pull up the weekly EMAs, the only one that's in existence is the 10 EMA, because the next EMA down that I use is the 21 EMA, and this does not have 21 candles. It's not 21 weeks old, right? So you can see here that Moonriver, after it released a bunch of tokens into circulation and inflated it, right? It essentially made its market cap go up like that. Therefore, price tanked, right? So when you increase the supply without increasing demand, what happens? You get the price goes down. That's just literally like that. That is a law of economics. Like that. There are almost no exceptions to that idea. Assuming demand does not increase. So demand didn't increase as supply did, therefore that it's just following. It's like a law of physics. It's not broken. And if supply is increased but price doesn't go down, that means also demand increased. That's literally what it means. All right. So supply was increased, but when it recovered from that, okay, so if you can draw this red line out here, if it existed, it flew past that EMA, which that's a no-no in crypto. You essentially don't have permission. You do have permission to do that, but if you fly above the weekly 10 EMA, right, without respecting it, you have to come back down and touch it. But there might be a shade of gray for Mover. And again, what I'm saying applies to all other altcoins. This is why you should watch all my freaking videos and hit like and all that shit. I'm telling you, like, all this stuff applies to all crypto moves the same people. I'm telling you, I cannot stress that enough. It's just a question of when it moves the same. Like, it could be next week, it could be 6 months out. It doesn't matter. You're going to be confronted with that situation on whatever coins you're following. I promise you. All right. So why not, look at all these videos and or at least all portions of the video to get all situations or more situations so that you are better prepared for the future. All right. So the shade of gray is this. Since it is a young coin, it might. And so what line was in existence, if I could take off price here, was the 5-day 10 EMA, which is pretty close to the weekly. It was in existence when it was disrespected. So price zoomed above that line, did not respect it. So it looks like it has to come back down and test it. Now, let's see how close it tested it. So I need to, I actually need to draw this in. Ooh, that's not going to work. I will make this line purple. Now we got to, hey, Tim, you have a bunch of lines on there. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. But it's really important. This is how, you get probabilities of what the hell is going to happen. All right. So I've drawn in that purple line now, and I'm back on the 1 hour chart. So this is where you can see how price went really low and the purple line, it zoomed past it, never respected it. So a rule in crypto is, particularly with the weekly 10, but we're going to make an exception for this one since the weekly 10 technically didn't exist. Actually, not technically, it literally didn't exist then, but the 5-day did. So the 5-day 10 EMA rule, let's just use that one for now. I usually use the weekly 10 though. So the rule is you don't have permission to fly. And if you do fly, you're going to have to come your ass back down. You're going to have to touch this. You're going to have to say your respects. You're going to have to give a deep Japanese bow, say, I'm so sorry, I didn't respect you. And so that is what is in play for if today's daily candle, even though I'm not on the daily chart, let's go to the daily chart. If the daily candle today does not close back above here, that means this attempt to get close to that purple line, that means it's likely not good enough. And tomorrow, even though it could still close green, which I think is still the second most probable scenario, but tying into what's next, what exactly is it going to hit if Tim is right here on the second most probable, or if Tim is right, because I mean, I could guess 5 different things and I'm probably going to be right almost every time among one of those 5, right? So, but that's how you should view price. You shouldn't care about being right. You should care about whatever happens. It was in my top 3 or 4 probable situations. You should feel good about that. And over time, if you realize, crap, I had a top 4 and none of them played out, I had a top 4, that means you need to change your analysis, right? You typically want to get the top 3. Like whatever happens needs to be typically, like you need about an 80% hit rate of your top 3 playing out. And I think I have a much better track record than that with my top 3 guesses. All right, so I think. Anyway, so tomorrow with the green day, that ends up red first, I think it would hit that line exactly. Literally, like at 332, about 333. If that were to happen, and then that would probably bring a lot of buyers in the table. However, the only bad thing is the weekly 10, more people look at the weekly chart. Buyers might not step into that until that. So what's next is both of these lines, either 333 or 328. It's really close. It's really close, right? But if I had to make a cool, like exact guess, I would make my cool exact guess at 333, hit that 5-day 10 EMA, and then specifically that day still closes green and above 350. So that is kind of a weird guess, but that's what I'm guessing for my second most probable scenario. However, with Bitcoin and Ethereum doing what they're doing, as long as something funky doesn't happen, they don't drop more than 3% today from its open, I still think the most probable is that this closes above, but I don't think that's that much more probable. So even though it's the most probable, it might only be like 31% probable. And then the second day going down lower, hitting that purple line is like 29% probable. So just because it's the most probable doesn't mean it's like by far the most probable. You see what I'm saying? So it's always good to have a top 2 or 3 probabilities. Even if you're not trading, if you don't give 2 shits, it's about checking your phone, knowing what is likely to happen from here, and being able to keep your emotions close to yourself so they don't get away. And why is that important? Because people are out there trying to take your money. If you get fluked and you get emotionally or like whatever, I almost said aroused. Ooh, crypto arouses me. But anyway, maybe I should make another crypto pronoun outside of cryptillions and crypto crackheads, like a crypto. I'm coming up short for words. Whatever might be a sexual terminology towards crypto. Leave me a comment down below if you can think of one. Like, I don't say something like crypto whore, because that is feminine in nature typically associated with that. So don't say that stuff in the comments. Plus, it'll probably get blocked. But give me an idea that is fairly appropriate about what another gender neutral situation or a word for that would be. Anyway, so we are looking for Moonriver to get a bounce within 2 days, and I think that's extremely probable. That is essentially the end of my summary for that. So hit like, flip your phones, or get flipped off. Do it before you go. And also, new viewers, these 2 videos that are popping up either now or just after I put my hands down, they'll pop up pretty soon. These 2 videos popping up could drastically change how much money you make within your crypto journey through the rest of the bull run. I'm telling you, they're like college courses 101 on how price moves. Why does it do this? Why does it do that? Why does it always go like this? It helps answer those questions. So click these videos, or click one, then go to it's in a playlist of 3, and you'll see that playlist once you click it. And also make sure the bell is on. If you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button. If you are subscribed, make sure the bell is on. It's going to help me help you walk through a more profitable crypto journey. We are in this together. Let's get this crypto. Hope this Timification was pleasurable. You just got Timified.